giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to AZ Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom. We got the blue-white scrimmage on Saturday. Let me hit y'all with a few notes. There's a lot to take away from this past weekend's practices, man, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to cram it into one show. Nonetheless, I also have a particular battle I think is all but over, and I probably will declare it at some point. With that said, let me just make sure we're good to go on here, because I know I'm looking at my side, I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at y'all, and I'm not quite sure if the connection's good to go. So Cowboys Nation, if we're straight over here, give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up, Bomb Squad, as I get this together. What's good with y'all?
Bomb Squad!
Okay, looks weird here. Oh, there we go. I think we straight. I think we are straight. It looked like it's about 144 of y'all in the building. Appreciate you for waking up and starting your Cowboys week with your boy here at A to Z Sports Live in the morning. If you don't know who I am, Skywalker still. And like I said, to start this thing off, the blue-white scrimmage happened this past weekend, y'all. And first of all, shouts out to Law because I went back and watched the blue-white scrimmage practice on Law's channel where he I don't know, where he has the camera back and he kind of has the all-22 version of it as opposed to .com. And man, that was some great quality. So shouts out to you, OG. So I'm watching that back, taking some notes. I go on Twitter. I take some of the notes from people that are down there as well. And we're going to go around the nation like we always do. But I also want to rap to y'all a little bit too. 351-999-3787. I'm going to just say this because there are a lot of people that don't feel excited about the team. And I get that. But just speaking about camp, there's a lot more to be excited about so far in camp than not. Now, you can take that, put it here, and say that's totally separate from what may happen during the regular season. And that's fine. You know, I understand that. But for me personally, Skywalker still, I'm seeing so many things here. I'm getting so many answers that make me feel good about a particular player or a particular thing. Again, that's not hyping up anybody, right? I'm not hyping up the Denzel Jacksons of the world. That's not what we're doing. It's just, hey, I say this to y'all every year too. Hey, I'd much rather hear the positive things from said player or said unit or whatever than hear, man, they're getting worked or they look terrible, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things that came out of camp this past weekend with you guys, mostly positive, right? Aside from the injuries, quick update. Luke Schoonmaker, Israel Mukuamu, both got dinged up a couple days ago, I believe on Friday. They have been out. Coach McCarthy said, Mukuamu, it'll be some time. Luke himself said, I'm fine. Just nothing serious is basically what he said. Now, it is Luke Schoonmaker, right? So he has been dinged up since he's been here. So you can take that with a grain of salt if you want. But that's kind of the injury updates as we speak. Let me just jump right into this thing real quick. Before we get to the notes, and we're going to do this throughout the week, probably. We're going to talk more about these battles. We'll see. Maybe we'll do it with some guests. There was one particular battle that I dubbed the most important battle coming in to training camp, right? Most important to me, and that was center. The center position, maybe one of the more underrated positions in all of the game in general, but I thought it was extremely important because of what they the responsibility, right? In that battle, Brock Hoffman, or should I say, because he's earned this, Hoffman and Cooper Beebe. That was the position I was really, really focused on to see and hear and listen how it's progressing or whatnot. And for Cooper Beebe, the rookie, guard, tackle out of college, playing center, we understand, hey, there's going to be some growth that has to happen with Cooper Beebe, right? He's showing some of that improvement, especially when you look at the strength aspect, the power aspect, and just kind of the know-how aspect. Those are the things that, you know, he was good at in regards to strength and power. But it was the consistency in the snaps that really has Cooper Beebe over here right now, right? Let's be honest, Brock is leading the way. Not just leading it, but Cooper Beebe is having to get better with the shotgun snaps, learning the center things, right? And I think he will get that down pat at some point. But the one thing he did not have, and he was never going to have over Brock Hoffman coming into camp, was the know-how, was the experience, right? And I'm saying I mean Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman, having been in this offense last year, having been a center for this team last year, you understand that the mental aspect of the job, that was going to be where he would lead the way. Well, now, you listen to McCarthy and you listen to Dak. I think this thing is all but over, Cowboys Nation. I just do. I think this Sky, you're overreacting. It's early in camp. I hear you. But I want y'all to hear and listen to Dak Prescott real quick. Just take a listen to Dak on Brock Hoffman this past weekend.
Brock's the man. Talking another guy just talking about love the game. Brock, it jumps out, and it's in his intensity, it's in his focus, and then it allows the communication to be easier. He's a guy that gets up there, knows his job responsibility, knows the calls, and then from there he's going to jump on them. And if I want to change something, he makes sure it's echoed and communicated to the rest of the guys, but there's just no hesitation in him. And I think that's the time that he spends in studying. It's the time that it's his care for the game and his job responsibility to make sure that he understands that it starts with him and getting us all on the same page. And then if I have to change it, I will. He's a guy, as I said, once again, the love for the game, the passion, it jumps out. When the moment he starts the huddle, that's contagious. People feel that. And then whether it's a run, the pass, he's a guy that got your back. And I know he's got my back, and not just mine, the other 10 guys and whoever else steps on the field with him. And I'll go to war with him any day, anywhere, anyhow.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Throw the damn towel! Throw the towel in. You can throw it in. When I'll go to war with him any day, anyhow, and you hear how he speaks. Now, again, just having a little fun with it. Beyond what Dak Prescott is saying about him, obviously Cooper Beebe, Brock Hoffman, excuse me. Hoffman has earned that from Dak Prescott, from Mike McCarthy. And look, it's not going to look the same, these two, but we joked about it a little bit when Voch was on the show. And I'm like, hey, as long as BB gets the snaps down, right, that part of the center, so then we'll really have this battle going on. And I feel good about it. But he hasn't. That is the one fundamental thing that you have to do at the center position. So now it's, okay, got to get the snaps down. I also have to get down the protection, the slides, help Dak out and gain his trust, et cetera, et cetera. That's going to take more than a couple weeks at training camp. But, you listen to what Dak said, and then you listen to what Brock Hoffman is saying about, what's different this year. And Brock Hoffman said, quote, I feel like in terms of my mental speed, I feel like I've really grown playbook wise. In terms of the game, it has slowed down. And in terms of being able to see safety rotations, different defensive looks, our defense has given us a different variety of looks, and the center has to be ready for that for the quarterback. Put a pin in that last part too. But this is the part of the game that we knew coming in, Brock would have the lead. And if he took another step to it, it's really, really going to be tough, I think, for him to give away that lead at the center position. Now, what are we, 3 weeks into practice? We have preseason games coming up. We got the scrimmage coming up. There's a chance here, right? There's still a chance that this thing could flip. But at this moment, and again, we're going to do this week. We're going to have fun with the camp battles. At this moment in this camp battle, is it much of a battle? It feels like this is Brock Hoffman's job to lose, and he's not going to give it up easily. We already understood Brock had that dog mentality. Now he's gained the trust as a starter. That's really, really going to be hard to give away, especially to a guy who is still learning the position of center. So, dare I say, this center position is over. It's early. I get it. But we're going to have a little poll here. Not a poll, but we're going to have a little position battle ranking type of thing as we go throughout this week. And right now, the center position to me feels like it's Brock's, and it's a stronghold is what I'm getting at. It feels like it's a stronghold for Brock Hoffman, man. And again, I'm not down there. I'm just basing off what I'm hearing and seeing in the videos and scrimmages, et cetera, et cetera. How are y'all feeling about the position battle right now? Shouts out to you, C. I feel you too, Special K. Let the best man win. The best man feels like it's Brock for sure right now. Or at least that's what he has to trust. Let's say that. It's his to lose for sure. Shouts out to you, D Shift, on the way back to work. FRK 180 said, hopefully BB wins the job this preseason games. BB's a better blocker. I think BB's the more talented player, but the problem with that position is it's a little bit more, not a little bit, a lot of it more than just the talent, right? Shouts out to my bro, Foot's the king of the building. And hey, that's the thing. That's the thing about this battle. If it was just up to just physical ability, yeah, BB has the lead, but it's not. Center is so much more than that. And one thing that you're not going to lose, and you may actually gain with Brock Hoffman when it comes to Brock and Tyler Biadasz, because to me, what they bring to the table is similar in the sense of, we talked about this before. They're not going to be people movers. They're obviously trusted with their quarterback and staff on the lighter side of the position, et cetera, et cetera. But what you get with those two dudes, and again, maybe a little bit more with Brock, is they are nasty in the sense of they're kind of your pit bulls on the interior. More so, it seems like with Brock Hoffman, but we saw, from time to time, Tyler Biadasz definitely at practice getting in fights and things like that. But you heard what Dak Prescott said. I'd go to war with him. I'd put me in a foxhole with Brock Hoffman. That's big, Cowboys Nation. That's big. All right, let's look at some of these notes that went around the Twitter sphere, right? Around the nation. Speaking of Dak Prescott, Dak continued to put together a very, what I would call, clean and smooth training camp. A couple tweets from Todd Archer. Archer tweeted out, Dak completed 16 of 28 passes in team and 7-on-7 work with 5 tutties. He's yet to be picked off since the padded practices started, a stretch of 95 passes. So you know what that means. Today he's going to throw an interception. Unofficially, he opened 2-minute with a bomb to Cooks and ended with a crossing route to Jalen Cropper for a touchdown. Now that's a hell of a way to open and close practice. The middle part of that was interesting. Not that, honestly, when it comes to training camp interceptions, we all saw last year that means absolutely nothing. But if you're not throwing them, does that mean something? And we're not going to hear about it. It's not as fun. It's not a headline grabber when the quarterback is being clean in practice. But I don't think it's because we're looking at a quarterback like Dak that's saying, well, I'm purposefully trying to be clean. I'm not trying to make a mistake, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is just showing you that Dak is way more confident in this scheme. The players around him are more confident in it. And we're going to talk about what Shadi said at some point this weekend. But Shadi talked about this on 105 through the Fan, where he was like, last year we were installing a lot of things. This year we're trying to perfect what we installed last year. So whatever we were good at last year, we're trying to make it perfect. We're trying to have these wide receivers be better at the contested catch point. We're trying to get to our second, third reads a lot smoother. We're trying to block this player a lot better. So I think you're seeing that with Dak when you see that he's been clean since the pads came on. Now, does clean mean perfect? No, I mean, that's not what these practices are for. In fact, you should be making some mistakes sometimes, right? Because the defense knows what's happening sometimes. Sometimes the offense knows what defense is doing. It just is what it is. But I do think it's interesting that he's been clean. Another thing down there, Jalen Moreno-Cropper. So Tyron Billy Johnson has been kind of the reserve guy that's been real hot this summer. Cropper, though, is not far behind. And what's interesting about Cropper, and I'd have to look this up with Tyron Billy Johnson, aside from CeeDee Lamb, which is hard to really designate Lamb as a slot guy, there's not a lot of slot receivers, and Cropper could be that for you. So with no real slot and Lamb not there, Cropper is stepping up, and he's making a very interesting case for himself. Very interesting case. We had 5 receivers, 6 receivers, 6 when Flournoy was a guy. Flournoy right now, I don't know. We'll see. It feels like chalk for the wide receiver position. But if they decide to put Flournoy on IR, Billy Johnson, Cropper, they just asked one of the rookies to I think it was a Crooms maybe, to allow the defensive ends on the team. But then there's a real fight for 6 if they decide to go 6. We're a long ways to go from there, especially because we got to get to preseason. A lot of times what we do is we see these things happening in camp and in preseason. Unfortunately, we don't have great backup quarterbacks like that, so it's tough for these guys to get going. So I think they're going to have to make plays in preseason or make plays with Dak Prescott. That's where Tyron Billy Johnson has a lead, I think, right now, is that he's been out there with Dak, with CeeDee Lamb out right now, gaining that trust. But I do think it is worth noting that Jalen Moreno-Cropper is also putting together some good practices. One more thing on Dak that I want to point out before we move on to the next thing. I noticed this, and you know, anybody else, if they notice this, we can rap about it. I noticed this last week, and I didn't tweet it out. I don't normally tweet out everything on Twitter, but I like to come here and talk to y'all about it. I didn't say anything on it because I wanted more data. You know, we get a lot of clips and everything. We get the training camp lives, but this past weekend we actually got a full scrimmage worth of stuff. But I noticed Dak in the pocket, and I think he's always been, my opinion, he's been good in the pocket in the sense of manipulating it, stepping up, moving aside. You know, 2018 was probably the last year that was really a problem. But I'm noticing this year he just feels way more aggressive, confident in his approach in stepping up into the pocket, manipulating the pocket. And I had heard Brian Broadus, by the way, say this on air, and I immediately I hit him up. I texted him. I said, "AB, so I'm not the only one who's noticing Dak in the pocket. Just it feels a little different. Maybe it's the same, you know, and I'm just from a distance, but it feels like there's a lot more confidence in how he's stepping up. Now, remember last year, y'all, in camp, he didn't have 70 Zach Martin on his side. Tyler Smith was still there. I want to say Tyler Biadasz was actually in and out. He was dealing with an ankle situation. Remember that? Tyler Biadasz had a whole ankle situation. So maybe last year in camp, it was a bit tougher for him to do that. You could argue this is a testament to the interior. All-pro left guard, all-pro right guard starting at camp, right? And a center who, yeah, he's newer as a starting center, but he's gaining praise and he's stacking good days. So twofold here. Dak looking, very confident, manipulating the pocket, stepping up, side shuffle, and then firing. It looks very clean. And then the interior of the offensive line giving him that ability to do it, because another thing we'll talk about here in a second, the defense on the edges, they were screaming off the edges this past blue-white scrimmage. Micah was just a menace. In fact, let's just go ahead and get right to it. Todd Archer also tweeted this: by far the most noticeable practice at camp for Micah Parsons Remember, Friday he was limited. He had an elbow injury. The offense had difficulties blocking him wherever he lined up. He likely would have had 3 sacks off Dak. Whatever was bothering his elbow wasn't an issue. And I wanted to point this out because the cat's out the bag. It's out the bag, Cowboys Nation. There is no more guessing, I think, on what Micah Parsons' role is going to be on this defense. In fact, the guessing will now be for opposing defenses. We've now heard from Micah, heard from Zimmer, heard from people that are down there, and we're seeing it. I synced it. It is not going to be easy identifying where Micah's lined up, and that has to be music to your ears. And when he is lined up, when Micah is lined up at defensive end, he's still whooping on dudes because he's like that. And that's music to my ears. That's all we ever really wanted from Micah Parsons, is to make a defense have to decide where he's at. So we're seeing Micah, I use quotes, off ball, but lined up obviously over a center or guard and blitzing. We're seeing Micah truly off ball and is closing speed on screens and whatnot. We're seeing Micah left defensive end whooping on Terrence. I'm not down on Terrence because Micah's whooping on Terrence. I got to stop that. Okay. I've seen people on Twitter talking about throwing Nate Thomas and those boys at. Relax. Okay. This is a specimen. If you didn't learn anything from 2022 training camp, you probably should. Micah was whooping on Terrence. And then we get to the season and Terrence was one of the best right tackles, I think, top 10, 11 right tackle in the game until he got hurt. So I'm not worried about Terrence. Whooping on Awesome. Get to that in a second too. But I wanted to point that out because obviously there's still some wrinkles and tweaks that will be made as we build up to the season, but it is here now, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to see, maybe it won't be a full 50-50 split in the sense of Micah at defense and Micah moving around, but I think it'll be a lot better than 80-20 like it had been. Hell, it was almost like 90-10. I think it'll be closer to 65-45 type situation. Or 65-35, I'm sorry. 60-40. And that's on the high end. But I don't think it'll be 50-50. Yeah, you got, if y'all missing out on the Broadus and Vach, what did I call it? No, that's a different one. The Lombardicus podcast. Demetrius said Micah 17 sacks. You know, Micah might not reach 17-20 sacks this year, and that's fine. But what you might see is more tackles. You might see more interceptions. You might see tips, TFLs, true tackle for losses, not just the sacks included with it. You're going to truly see Micah potentially unlocked with Zimmer truly moving him around. Now it'll be up to these other guys, and we're hearing positive reviews from the Marshawn Nealons of the world. Mozzie had a good practice from what I heard. I saw one rep, in fact, where he got in Zach Martin's chest. I mean, now Zach slowly died is what we say, but hey, man, Mozzie Smith got some push, right? That was a pass play, but he got some push. We want to know about Mozzie in the run game, and he kept a couple of these guys clean. One of the guys he kept clean was Damone Clark. This comes from my guy, John Owning of PFF. He says, additionally, talking about Clark's ability to quickly key and diagnose the opposing offense's actions have taken a notable step forward thus far in camp. Last year, he frequently struggled with run fits, especially when opposing offenses employ motion at the snap and post-snap. However, he looks much more comfortable against those types of actions thus far. I could have highlighted this part too, man. A lot to talk about this week. The Cowboys offense has used a litany of motion to try and create confusion and indecision on Dallas's defense. And at least in Clark's case, he's been steady in those situations. The Cowboys offense used a litany of motion, y'all. Oh, goodness. I'm going to calm myself down because that part could taking me to a whole different world, and I'm trying to save that for later this week. But Clark looks good. And coming into camp, Damone Clark to me was Damone Clark and Eric Kendricks. Love Demo, love Leofau bringing those guys. We're going to have to take it from Clark hey, look, that's the depth chart right now. Clark ain't making it easy. Now, these other guys may rotate in and whatnot, but Damone Clark has showed improvements in huge areas that he needed to improve on last year. Now, you could say, well, the run fits and the hesitation and the confusion comes from him playing out of position, losing the veteran guy in the room in LVE, and that's all fair, 100%. But what I love about what's happening now with Damone Clark is even with Eric Kendricks out, they're not asking Damone Clark to be that middle linebacker because that's not who he is. He's an athletic freak of a will type linebacker. Keep him clean. Allow him to chase things down. Allow him to see it and go. It feels like, and that's just is what it is. The last few years, you add too much onto his plate as he's coming back from a back, as he's learning a new position. Yeah, it slows him down some. You don't got to worry about that with the Leofau if he's in there, with the Damian Wilson who was in there at one point, Eric Kendricks who's in there, because these guys play middle linebacker. That's what they do. Now, Leofau's been doing some Sam things, and let me see if I can pull up this play. I know y'all saw the play by now. I mean, my goodness. You know what? I'll let it go because I don't want to mess up the stream. There's a play, and if you miss it, go on either Foots, Law, one of their Twitters. I think it's up there. Where Maris Leofau, y'all. I mean, Maris Leofau, we showed, I don't have it up here, we showed the video of Leofau coming down and just destroying people in college. He did that to Tyler Smith, put him on his ass. And that just gets me excited because last year we had linebackers including LVE. No offense to Bell and Clark. The linebackers, that wasn't the case. And what I mentioned this to y'all a lot, and just stick with me. I didn't even pin it on those guys all like that. Aside from LVE, he always was timid when it came to that. But when an entire group plays a specific way, I look at the coaching. And I say, well, why are they playing it like this? Well, Sky, the same linebackers coach is here. Is he though? Scott McCurley's here, but let's be real. This is Paul Gunther and Mike Zimmer's baby. And Gunther is working with those boys. And Gunther, I think, is coaching them up on how to be downhill and aggressive. And we're seeing a collective, right? This isn't just Demo, or this isn't just Maris Leofau, or this is every one of those linebackers are collectively getting downhill, looking a lot faster, looking a lot smoother, more confident, more aggressive, more assertive, whatever word you want to use. As a group, that's coaching. That's coaching. So you should see an improvement by default because your linebackers are going to be better against the run I'm talking about. Now, if we can get the front to mirror that, now we're probably not going to get the front to have the talent, but if we can get the front to mirror the responsibilities and pick them up and be solid, then I think you'll be competitive as a run defense. But that's to be decided. Nonetheless, though, Damone Clark looking like so far that guy Oppo of Eric Kendricks, who continued, I think, to be out during this week's this blue-white scrimmage. So you love to hear it. Let's get a couple calls before I get to one of my favorite parts of going around the nation is reading Kyle Yeoman's tweets because it gives us like 17 different things. Let's wrap to 202 first. 202. Yeah, I thought this was Foots. Good morning. What's good?
So good, bro. I wanted to talk about like how Jake Ferguson not in the top 10. And you know,
Freaky
call
Ferg.
me biased, but huh?
Now I said Freaky Ferg.
Yeah. So listen, call me biased, but it's like I feel like nobody understands the way how like Cowboys understand. Like this was his first season starting as a tight end for him to go out there and do that, people don't look at that because they just think, this is a regular tight end. But this was his first season coming out. He did that. He's definitely top 10.
Oh, without a doubt, man. I mean, I already went on record thinking that Ferg's going to be a top 4 tight end this year. On record, bro. Yeah. And that comes with opportunities. Now, last year, 761 yards, 5 tutties. If you include the postseason, he had 8 total touchdowns. And they were trying to get him going early. And, it struggled with that first game. But after that, Ferg, week in, week out, I think improved. And now I think he'll be a focal point of this offense. I think he should be the second guy they target, in my opinion. And if that's the case, Ferg easily can have a 900 yard, 7-8 touchdown season. And then, the best 1,000-yard, 10 touchdown. Now, 10's a lot, but 1,000-yard season for a tight end is pretty damn good. I think he can do it.
Like, it just make me sick. It just make me sick. And with, what's his name? Our cornerback. What's his name? I know.
DaRon Bland. You talking about Bland and Diggs being left off? Look, let me just say this, bro. And I feel you because the list can definitely rile us up, but that's what they're designed to do. Right, when you leave DaRon Bland and Trayvon Diggs off of a list like that, you're purposely trying to get an eruption out of Cowboys Nation. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Coming off of the campaign that Bland had, how do you leave him off the top 10? That's just goofy.
And it makes me sick because it's like you can't really tell nobody that he's top 10 because it's going to seem like you're just saying that because
you're being a homer. Yeah.
But because if that was anybody else, they would have been talking about it for the whole season. Oh, he broke the record. It would have been everywhere. Everybody would have been like, yeah, he's top 5. He's top 10. But since it's Cowboys, it's just a one-thing thing. And it's just like, you know what? He did that. Okay, cool. Nah, that's not. Because if that was somebody else, they would be talking about it.
That you know what? Good. What's the Childish Gambino meme? Good. And I want them to leave him off because you already hear Diggs, and Bland doesn't speak a lot, but Diggs is already using that as ammo. And great players should use any given thing to push them further. And that's what Diggs did. Diggs said, look, ain't nobody like me or Bland. I ain't worried about no damn list, but he's going to use that to prove them dudes wrong this season. So, hey, good. Leave him off the list. Leave all the Cowboys off for all I care.
Yeah, man. It's just, it's just so rough, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's just crazy because it's like you can't really talk about it because you're a Cowboys fan. It's going to make it seem like you just talking.
Hey,
but it's like,
hey, bro, just keep it real. That's all you can do. If they don't know ball, if they don't watch ball, and it's low hanging fruit to them, then you just keep it moving. Yeah, you can. It's easy to tell sometimes, man. Easy to tell.
Yeah, I got one more question and I'm done. Right?
Yep.
See, this is my third year watching football. I'm 17 years old. It's my third year watching football. It's my third year. Now I love football now. I love the Cowboys. And I wanted to know one thing. How do you think our linebacker, Luafau, how you think he's going to do?
Yeah, you must just jump right up in here because I was just, raving about Luafau in this linebacker room. I'm excited to see the future for Luafau here. I personally think he's going to take over Mike's position in 2020, Mike linebacker, middle linebacker position in 2025. But hey, man, there might be a small role for him this year because he can scream off the edge, he can blitz, and I know right now you can argue he's going to be a reserve guy, and that's probably going to be the case. But don't be shocked if you see a Leofau, Kendricks, Micah Parsons on the field at the same time in certain packages, and they got Leofau charging after the quarterback. I mean, Leofau and Micah rushing after the quarterback. That's kind of a nightmare to think about because Leofau, he plays with a reckless abandon. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, he'll miss tackles, but he's going to try to take dudes' heads off, man. And I personally think you need somebody like that on the field with Micah, oppo of Micah, because Micah's trying to do that already, and a lot of tension gets to him, and maybe we'll see it middle of the season or later. If Leofau could be one of those guys, a reserve, I'm trying to think one of those 3-4 off-ball linebackers that comes in and gets you sacks. If he can do that, and he walks away this season with 3-4 sacks and a couple forced fumbles, I'm excited to see what he's going to be moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you, man. That's all I wanted.
No problem, man.
Thank you for letting me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shouts out to to the young crowd that listens, man, I kind of always forget that, this game that I love, it has no age limitations. Shouts out to my guy, 17. I mean, you're still in school. Stay in school. Do good in school, man. And I don't know if you play ball, but if so, call back in, man, and let me know what position you play, and good luck for the season. Hey, Jay, not everybody comes out the womb with a football in their hand, Not everybody does that. Guru says, will Maris and Special K, will Maris, who's Special K, eventually share the middle linebacker role? Oh, Kendricks? I would say no. I would say nah to Guru. I think the question is, he said, will Maris Leofau and Kendricks share the middle linebacker role? I'm going to say no, because at the end of the day, when it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, that position is so important. It's what do we call it? The Jarvis, if you're an MCU fan. Cerebro, if you're an X-Men fan. It is the nucleus of the defense, and nobody on this team knows it better than Eric Kendricks, and he's still playing at a high level. Now, if he gets dinged up, if he ends up being a guy that can't stay on the field, then yeah, I think you'll see Maris Leofau out there sharing those duties. But until further notice, I think it'll be predominantly Eric Kendricks. But Leofau could have a role at Oppo, you know what I mean? Sam linebacker type situation. All right, let me get to Kyle's notes here, and then we'll finish off the show, wrapping y'all in the chat and here on the phone. Before that, though, if you are enjoying kind of this review of our blue-white scrimmage notes, please hit that like button, man. Please, please, please. Shouts out to the callers. Shouts out to the chat. Y'all the best. So let's get to Kyle Yeoman's notes here, and there might be a little bit of overlapping here, but it is what it is. Practice number 7, which I believe was the blue-white scrimmage. He said, most intense practice to date, lots of physicality, lots of snaps. That's one thing I did hear Broadus talk about was, man, he pushed these dudes. This was the longest practice, most intense. He really challenged the team in that practice. And somebody had mentioned something along the lines of, hey, is Zimmer being here, breeding more toughness from this team? And Broadus was like, nah, I think this is McCarthy in the way he's, maneuvering these practices. And it's bringing out the physicality in the squad, the competition, pushing them a little further. And I'm not saying this is reminiscent of the 90s or whatever, because it'll never be like that for practices. But if it sounds like he's trying to tap into that, hey, I'm going to push y'all until you want to throw up. Or I'm going to push y'all until you're pissed off that we're still going. That reminds me of practices, before the CBAs and look, I understand it's about safety, but before all of that became a thing, I felt like football practices were about pushing your team to the limit. I don't know. When I played, that's kind of how I always felt. Maybe it was because of the coach I had. And then you listen to the 90s guys, they talk about it all the time. You heard what Coach Jimmy Johnson said. Asthma. You got asthma? The asthma field is over there. Get your ass off my field. So it is good to hear that McCarthy is kind of pushing these dudes. He says Zimmer was dialing up the pressure from the linebackers. Cowboys Nation. I'm rubbing my hands here because we've been kind of preparing this, right? If you've been watching this show since Mike Zimmer got here, we've been watching the film, and just to see it actually in action with your team. Again, this is going to sound real XO and nerdy, but it's exciting. We'll see, if that translates on the field during the season, but it is exciting to see 14 creeping in the box. Then last minute he's peeling out and you got a dog blitz, crossers. It's exciting to see Micah Parsons in this one play where he's standing up. This is the beauty of Micah kind of standing up a bit. He's in the slot. He's over top of Jake Ferguson, right? Looks like he's about to cover Jake. Last second, right? Because you got the shot, not the shot clock, the play clock. Last second, he bumps down inside. Protection's already set. Screams off the edge. Sack. It's exciting to see Maris Leofau and Damone Clark mugging the A-gaps. One guy drops back. The other guy blitzes. You got a loop. It is exciting to see slowly but surely Mike Zimmer dial up this thing. And if you go back and listen, to might have been this quote. Let me see here. There it is right there. If you go back and listen or read to what Brock Hoffman said, he said, different defensive looks. Our defense has given us a different variety of looks, and the center has to be ready for the quarterback. Ready for that for the quarterback. I don't know about y'all, man. The more, and now it's offensive players speaking on it, but the more these defensive players speak, offensive players speaking on it, the more you kind of come away like, just how basic was our defense last year? We're sitting here getting excited off of creativity, off of deceptiveness, off of variety. But that's the world we were living in, right? And shouts out to DQ for turning this defense around. But it caught up to him, et cetera, et cetera. This feels like, okay, if somebody goes down, it's Zimmer's scheme that's going to keep this thing afloat. Now, within that scheme, you want great players. You want good players. No doubt about it, right? No doubt about it. And we don't want the top guys to go down, period. But I don't think we're going to get into a point where, damn, we lost a linebacker and we got to move a certain guy here, and that completely changes how we do things. But damn, we lost our corner. We can't run multiple coverage. I don't think it's going to be the case. Zim's going to run what he runs. And if you can't be a quality player in it, see ya. You're not going to be on the field. Same thing with Skanina, same thing with Gunther. Skanina's getting on everybody, by the way. I love it. So you love to hear that. Carson, Bland, Lewis shine at cornerback. I feel like they're saying this every day. Bland's having a great camp. Lewis as well. And Kalen Carson, who to me came in already as cornerback 4. I don't even, we're talking about position battles being over. I feel like that one's over, but we'll get into that a little bit more too. Kalen Carson is grabbed that thing and said, I'm here. Okay. And if anything were to happen to Bland or Diggs, we know Carson's going to be out on the outside. Lewis has locked down the slot cornerback spot, and Carson has been predominantly, almost exclusively, out on the boundary. And I wonder, just wonder if that means moving forward. And again, this is way ahead. Moving forward, we may see Bland back inside next year or so, because Lewis probably won't be here. But that's speaking way into the future. Kyle Yomas also said Dak made some great throws. Receivers didn't have much separation. I ain't there, but shouts out to Law, like I said, and shouts out to .com. I noticed that second part too, and that's not necessarily a terrible thing. That means great coverage, right? There's no CD Lamb out there, and there's days where the receivers have been winning every day. But again, that goes back. That's a testament to Carson, Bland, Lewis. Scott has made some play. These young corners, the scheme, the safeties, the linebackers, making it tough on these receivers. But again, another day, another good outing for Dak at camp. He's just continuing to stack days. We talked about, we want to see that with Trey, and it sounds like he's starting to do that a little bit. He looked, at the beginning of practice, he looked better. Couple throws in the 709s at the end of practice that it is what it is. But again, you got to test things out there. But nonetheless, Dak continues to be clean. We'll see what happens today. The kiss of death. Archer tweeting out he hasn't thrown a pick since the pass came on. He'll probably throw one today. And then Kyle Yeoman said, set the edge better overall. I would have loved for him to go a little bit more detail. Want to know what that means. I mean, I know what it means. The defensive end set the edge, maybe linebackers set the edge, but were they struggling with that is what I would ask Kyle. Hey, were they struggling with setting the edge in general? Because it sounds like the run game hasn't really got off to any type of firing start, but this is what I hate about how they practice now. I tell you guys this all the time. You really can't gain anything from these running backs. They can't be tackled. Even when the D-line is maybe holding up doubles, the offensive line can't dirt guys. The D-line can't dirt guys. The linebackers can't fly down and make the hit. It's weird. So it's going to come down to, in my opinion, preseason. It's about, I think, what's happening in the meeting rooms, what's happening, blitz pickup, ball protection, things like that in camp. I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of playmaking in camp from the running backs. But the defensive line seems to be making it a challenge from the linebackers, definitely. So you do love to hear that. But we'll see if they can carry that over. We got a preseason game this Sunday. We have the scrimmage against the Rams Thursday. So we got a full slate this week, by the way. Thursday's the Rams scrimmage. Friday we'll be reviewing the Rams scrimmage with Pat. Sunday is the game. So there are some of my notes that stuck out to me from what went down. There are some leftovers that I do want to discuss, or at least one thing I want to discuss. The other one, I'm actually going to save that for tomorrow. I think so. Yeah. So Chuma Edoga, I think, was out this past weekend, still dealing with the back. For sure, Tyler Guyton was out. He had an illness. So Edoga might have been limited, but I know Tyler Guyton was out for sure. So that gave Awesome Richards all the snaps at left tackle. And good, right? Because Awesome Richards was one of those question marks that felt like, yeah, he'll be on the team as a 5th round pick, but we want to see where has he gotten better. So last week, I had heard that the reason why Awesome didn't play is because the staff wanted him to get stronger. So they didn't trust Awesome Richards. Reason why you bring back Chuma Edoga, there was still trust that Awesome Richards had to gain. If Edoga's going to continue to be banged up, he's the next guy up, it sounds like. Not hearing much from Matt Waletzko. Hell, is Josh Ball even in camp? But he's at guard now. It's Awesome Richards, right? The North Carolina talent that, y'all know me, I don't want to see him at guard. Let him work at tackle because I liked his tackle tape coming out. He just wasn't strong enough. So it sounds like he's gotten stronger. It sounds like he's put the work in to do that. And he had a chance to go out there this past weekend and put that on display, getting pretty much all the left tackle reps. And it looked like a promising day for Awesome Richards. So now I want to see that stack. And that doesn't mean Awesome Richards is going to be a starter or anything like that. But he was always competing with the Waletzkos of the world and the Chuma Edogas. I want Awesome to beat out Chuma. I know there's probably a portion of the fan base that says I'm too hard on Chuma Edoga. I just, he is what he is. He's a serviceable tackle 4 is how I view him. Tackle 3 at best. He's getting a little bit too much starter reps for my liking. But if I got a 5th round pick, young guy who I loved his tackle tape coming out, I was sure as hell hope he can beat a vet minimum guy who struggled last year, who has no pop to his pass, doesn't move anybody. He's not a tackle in my opinion. So I'm looking for Awesome Richards to snatch that thing away from Chuma. And now we can, okay, boom, we got trust in Awesome. Let's use this roster spot to go long elsewhere. So good to hear Awesome Richards was getting all those reps. All right, let's get back to the horns. In fact, we're going to lock these things up because these next two I ain't rap to in a minute. So let's talk to him. What's good with your VIP?
Sky is VIP, baby. What's good, B?
New York in the building. What's up with you, man? How you doing?
Well, you already know, respectfully. Let me say this, because there's a few. I had highlighted a few numbers, and there's a few players that I watched over over the Oxnard. 55 is putting in work. He's invited to the VIP. Who is 55? That's the kid from
I think that's Harvey.
Home balling.
Let me see.
He's balling.
Yeah. He making some plays. He's flying around out there. I believe that is Willie Harvey Jr., our assassin.
Yes, him, and I ain't even got to say, because you already mentioned my other guy, 35. I watched him come on some, like the late blitzes.
Yeah, he a foul.
Whoo! Oh, I respect her. I like him. Him, with Micah moving around now, because what I know he don't want to throw DQ under the bus last year, but what he's saying silently, our new defensive coordinator, is that we let them target 11. We put 11 in one spot, and we let the offensive coordinator target him, taking him out the game. They totally eliminated him out of the playoffs, and we had no counter to that.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Zimmer said it. You know, Mike said we're not going to have him just line up in one spot. Now, majority of the time, Micah just whooping on dudes and because Micah's Micah. But at some point, you go up against a smart coordinator that says, well, why would we bang our heads against the walls here? Let's manipulate Micah. Let's make him think, or let's get a tackle plus a tight end plus a running back throwing bodies at him, but we're going to go the opposite way. Yeah, smart coordinators aren't going to be idiotic and put Micah in the best situations to succeed. They're going to do what they think is best to combat having a Micah Parsons over there, which is why it's important for you to scheme around that.
And that's why I love Zim. I love me some Zim already, just to see his ideology of everything. Like he's not gonna just fall for all right, this is what you're getting. All right, I'm gonna line up like this, and then right before the snap count, bam,
right,
he change up I love that. And I think our weakness last year is now our strength. Our linebacker core, bro, I have so much confidence in them B right now, just watching from D Clark to I already know, like, 13, what I ain't even got to say, he's on a mission from last year.
Bro, I'm always cautious with the ACLs, but it's really hard not to get excited, seeing Overshown move around out there. And, again, he's so young that it's not like Overshown has to rethink the position. He hasn't played out there forever. So he's still in that kind of young hubris, like, I'm just flying around trying to make plays. He doesn't have to think. So he's not overthinking his ACL injury. He's not overthinking the play. He's just out there making plays, and he sounds mad confident. So I always say about this kid, whatever gets thrown at him, he just has this aura about him where he'll figure it out. And it sounds like he's figuring it out early.
And I think that's all strengthening, because I think where Clark's delay is, because he has the physical aspects, but I think him, when he starts to think, he's overthinking the play. So I think by giving 50 that green dot and just letting Clark just fly around,
yep,
it strengthens, it goes to his strength.
Oh, yeah.
Am I wrong,
No. I've always, at first, I thought Clark had potential to be the middle linebacker of the future, once, LVE left. But he got thrown in there so fast, I think it kind of jolted his development. He always had the athletic ability as to be a will linebacker, right? But he wore 18. He was a leader. He was a green dot type guy at LSU. So I figured, okay, that could be the thing. But once he got here and they threw him to the Wolves, it didn't work out. So they and he understood, okay, put me in my best position. So they go out and they get a couple guys to play the middle. And as you read here, I don't know if you see the screen, he is quickly diagnosing things now. He feels way more comfortable, off the middle linebacker spot, and he's making more plays. And right now, I think he's probably squarely in the lead to be opposite of Kendricks.
Yes. And then that opens up to our back seven. Like, if our defense ain't top 3 this year, I'm gonna be surprised, Steve.
Damn.
I'm gonna be surprised, because our back end, and that's before we get Trey back.
Top 3 and what is really my question, but I feel you. I think I'm kind of over the rankings. What I need this defense to be is be better in the moments that they're supposed to be better in, because that hasn't been the case, consistently throughout the last few years. So I just, certain stats I want them to be great in, right? You would love to be the best scoring defense. You would love for them to be best third down defense. Turnovers, right? These type of things. If you're number 3 in yards, but you're somehow, some way giving up 22 points per game, that's not great, right? So it all depends where they're top 3 at. But for me, because you got the talent, you have the coaching, just be better when you're supposed to be. So if you get to these games against the 49ers, or last year was Miami and the Bills. For instance, Miami, perfect example. To end the game, your quarterback, your MVP candidate, goes down there, gets the go-ahead touchdown. I just need you to get a stop. Couldn't do it.
That's it.
Right? The playoff game, I understand. Got off to a crazy start. The offense starts to at least give you some life. I just need you to put together 2 stops. Can you get me 2 stops? Couldn't do it. Right? So I need them to be better when they're supposed to be.
And I think that's why I'm gonna get to my last was actually 2 things I want to get to before I get out.
Yeah.
I still think we need a 1. I love Mozzie. I still think we need a 1, B.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So according to, let me see if I can find a tweet. That's not the one I'm looking for. According to, I think it was Chill. He said he spoke to Stephen Jones and he said the Cowboys are looking for defensive tackle help. So I hope it's true. I hope it's not just smoke, and they truly do light a fire to this and bring in some DT help, because once the bullets really start flying out there and this is real life games, you're going to need a healthier rotation, in my opinion.
Right. Definitely. So at the one. And my last thing is, I like our tight end group. I like me some 81. I like to see the development of our new tight end group, because I heard your boy, even Scoochmaker, whatever home name is, I heard he's playing a little better. But I like 81, D. I like 81. I like to see I think he can open up next to, because 87 is good money. He's good money. He's good money. We ain't got to worry about him. But 81, I think he could do something. He's type different.
Yeah. He former wide receiver. Vice grip hands. There was a play. I think it was Friday's practice. And I don't know who was the quarterback. I think it might have been Cooper Rush. There was a play. I think he did like a quick slant or something. He might have been detached, and he met right with the linebacker or corner or safety, whoever it was, and just vice grip hands on Stephen Jones Jr. John Stevens Jr. That's who you're talking about. Yeah, he looks like he's getting back into it with his ACL situation. And even, look, this might sound crazy, even Hendershot has made a few plays too, right? And he's saying
that's what I said. The whole tight end group, even Hendershot. Look, he dropped a couple, but he's still been looking better.
But I think in this camp he feels more pressure. Think about this for a second. Hendershot, quite literally, I think it's kind of crazy to think about this. He was competing for tight end 1 last year. Yeah. Seriously. This year, he's competing to make the roster. And that pine will change your mind. Now, I'm not saying he out there killing it every day or anything like that, but it sounds like he's having a better camp this year than he was last year, and he's going to have to go into preseason and prove it, because they're high on Brevin, they're high on John Stevens Jr., and you already know Scoochmaker and Ferg is making the team.
Yeah. So, bro, I can't wait till we get down to that 53, because I do know once we get down to that 53, it's going to get real, B. It's going to get real. That's the last decisions. There's going to be some decisions that you have to make. And even with my last guy, I like 41 as a corner. I want him to make the team. I love his swag. I F with home. I F with that guy.
Yeah.
F with home.
He
I
really
like
got
swag.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, he got dwarves. Home guy, he got real dwarves, and I believe that he can cover that gap until Trey gets help. I don't want to rush Trey back. I want to have somebody in that comfort zone where we can, let him go out there and ball out. And like you said, I think he can move inside, because he got that tough swag where he can play that nickel inside.
That was my thought process. I looked at him as a guy who could be one of those next kind of slot dudes, but he's been predominantly outside, and I wonder if they're prepping for the future, but that's a different discussion.
Well, I know you got to get to your people, Sky. You know it's love, man. If you need me, you're headed out here, B. Remember, no Slurpee season. We don't want no Slurpees outside. This is all Cowboy Nation, B. I love you, Sky. Keep your head up. I'm outside for you, B.
Much love. Appreciate you. That's VIP, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep this thing moving with not 25, not 50, but $100,000. What's up with you, man?
What's good? VIP was popping, my boy. Listen, man. The Commanders fans, right?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're gonna have interceptions. Joe Witt Jr. was the guy. What are you talking about?
Man, I'm curious who they're. I'm curious who they're
talking about. Joe Witt, that's all they. Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn was the reason why they got all these interceptions. They're going to turn this person into the Ron Bland.
I'm just looking at the defensive backs.
You guys don't know what you're talking about.
I like Jeremy Chin. Let me see
here. It
here.
wasn't Joe Witt Jr. though, guys.
No. Hold on. No, Joe Witt has something to do with that. Yeah. Joe Witt has something to do with that. Everywhere he's been, his teams have usually been in the top 10 in interception percentage. So I'm not going to poo-poo Joe Witt. Like I actually would give him more credit than I give Dan. But dog, at the same time, players matter. Because what happened when we didn't have the players opposite of Diggs that one year? I remember that? We was recycling Boss Man, Fat, Nation Wright and them boys.
Right.
They got Benjamin St. Juice, and then he was okay last year, but we whooped on him. Derek Forrest, who the hell is that? Okay, they got Michael Davis. He can get worked. I know Michael Davis can get worked. I remember looking into Michael Davis a couple years ago in free agency. He can get worked. Mike, who are these people? Mike come on, get out of here, dog. Okay, you got Jeremy Chin, and I give you Benjamin St. Juice, maybe. Other than that, stop playing with me. We're going to work that. We're going to work that secondary. Year one, they're not going to be what the Cowboys were. Stop it.
The reason why I said that, because our assistant head coach was the guy. He's the guy. If you go and you listen, they play it like Al Harris.
Al Harris is part of it too, bro. But Al Harris was here in 2020 too. We got to. So look, Al Harris as a cornerbacks coach, absolutely. When it comes to Deron Bland and when it comes to Trayvon Diggs, maybe Kalen Carson, yes. But the actual pass game coordinator aspect of it was headed by who'd you say was the coach that went over there to everybody over there's
Joe Witt Jr.
Joe Witt Jr. So I'm not trying to poo-poo what Joe Witt was. His history speaks for itself. The resume is there. Al Harris is still here, yes, to help these cornerbacks. Al Harris ain't gonna have much to say about how the secondary plays from a schematic standpoint. That's gonna be Mike Zimmer. So I think we replace a pass game coordinator in Joe Witt Jr., who I think is pretty solid at what he does, with a great one. So that's why I'm not worried about Joe Witt leaving, because you replaced him, in my opinion, with Mike Zimmer.
But the interception part of it, we're getting interceptions in camp, and Mike Zimmer said, I don't know if we're going to get these interceptions. I mean,
Dak hasn't thrown an interception since the pads came on. You're getting a lot of PBUs. Your boy Trey Lance is throwing some picks, but that's a whole different discussion. That's a whole different discussion.
But
I don't care about the picks, bro. I don't care about the picks. This is what I'm getting at. After picks, can you make legitimate stops without getting a turnover? Can you be better I don't care about them picks no more, man. Where the picks was at in the playoffs? Where was seriously? All right, I'm getting a little hyped up because where were they at?
You're right.
How many interceptions did this turnover-leading defense get in the playoffs under Dan Quinn?
Well, Sky, don't get too hyped. You know
I'm
why?
sorry, man. I'm just sick. I'm sick of this.
This defense is fooling dudes now.
Yeah,
Last year, they can just line up and with Dan Quinn, once you figured out his scheme, okay, this is what he's going to do. Yep. This is what he's going to do. All right, we're going to do this and that. That's why I'm not worried about the Commanders. They're going to be toast. But Mike Zimmer is disguising this defense where they got disguises now.
Yep.
So if you don't notice it, you might see something pre-snap, but as you dropping back, if your processing mind ain't quick enough, it's over. You're done. So
I'm trying to find this
that's what I'm saying. So if you're not Aaron Rodgers.
Shit, Aaron Rodgers got by this defense. Aaron Rodgers got by this scheme.
So all these quarterbacks is gonna be in trouble. This defense is gonna be your elite.
Yeah, again, I don't care anymore about using them. We've been here, done that. But I think this defense will. If it depends, right, on the run situation. If they can be competitive against the run, they will make things difficult for sure.
That's the thing. If we can stop the run, then this defense can really tear stuff up, because I don't care all about this switching. All they're going to say, we're just going to run the ball. Forget about all that. What are they doing? We're just going to run the ball. But if we can stop them from running the ball, all that passing, I'm not saying teams ain't going to get some, but those big plays and all of that, it ain't going to happen like that. And that's what Dak Prescott needs. This Dak Prescott, with a good defense, can spell trouble for other football teams, is all I'm getting at. Give Dak Prescott a couple more cracks with the football. We're going to win some more games.
Yeah, winning more than 12 is tough, but he got more cracks, right? Because we led the league in turnovers for 2 out of 3 years and was top 10, I think, last year. But to me, it's going to come down to being better fundamentally, being more sound, and just being tougher, being a defense that can go, I think, bell to bell as a tough, gritty, nasty defense. Yeah, we might have to win 19-12 today. You know what I'm saying? We might have to win 17-14.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And we might have to get a stop at the end. It might not be great for the offense that day. Can we do that?
Okay. Can you at least say we're working towards being the Ravens defense?
Oh, bro.
Because that Ravens defense, man, I'll try to.
Hey, Honey Grant, you really trying to put me on the spot here, man. I'm trying to be objective and I'm not trying to blow smoke up y'all. Look, bro, I'm just trying to report what's happened with practice. I'm excited about what I'm seeing. But damn it, the Ravens? Which Ravens you talking about? Who you talking about? It don't even matter who you talking about.
The last couple of years of the Ravens defense.
Lord Jesus.
These last couple years of the Ravens defense, come on, man. That quarterback didn't win them games like that. It was that defense, man.
No, Ravens defense was great.
That defense is killer.
Yeah, it was killer. They had some damn killers too at the front seven, but yeah, I'm not gonna go that far. I hope the hell you right, dog. But can I see what the DT situation looking like? Are we adding any more players at the edge? I love the linebacker group, but let's get them play some games out there first, so I can
I just need Mozzie to do his job. I'm not
need Mozzie to do his job
like everybody else. I just need Mozzie to. He's everybody. Oh, because he's not rushing the pass. Stop. Clog the lane, bro.
Yeah.
Just sit right there and clog the. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to do nothing. Clog the lane, and if you got the opportunity to drive somebody back, drive them back. That's all I want you to do. That's it.
Hey, Jay.
If you.
So I looked in the chat and Jay said, like Kansas City, I would love to be Kansas City's defense, bro. I love to be Kansas City's defense.
Here's why. Okay. Here's why I say I didn't mention Kansas City's defense. Because Kansas City's defense is like too wishy-washy to me. Like in the beginning of the year, they were slow, and then they show up in certain spots.
Bro.
But there's certain spots where they got bailed out too. I watched their games, man. They got bailed out a lot too because Mahomes would throw a pick, and the other team would. I mean, you might not see, but I feel like I'm not really feeling a defense like that. I'm really not. They show up. I'm not saying that they don't show up, but they're not the Ravens defense, man. Like, no way.
Both of those defenses were on the field at the same time in the biggest game of the year. And one defense showed up, right? Not saying the Ravens didn't, but that defense put the MVP on his ass, bro. Then we get to the Super Bowl, and that defense, you could argue, was a catalyst. I don't even think it's arguable, bro. I think last year, and I love Pat, but the catalyst was that Chiefs defense. I mean, I don't want to go back in time, but that Chiefs defense is not wishy-washy.
But the 49ers was killing them in that first half. It's just that they fumbled. The 49ers
wasn't
did
it
goofy
like
stuff.
10,
you fumbled the
3 or
football.
something?
They fumbled like twice or 3 times. They fumbled the ball.
Yeah, they forced a fumble. That's what happens. I mean, the Chiefs did that to the Ravens too. But anyway, we're kind of now we're nitpicking because the Ravens and the Chiefs defense are both good. I'd love to be both of their defenses, but let's get them on the field. Let's see, But I think this version of Mike Zimmer's defense with the Cowboys definitely has potential to be a very competitive defense and make things tough on teams. But I gotta get them out there because there's a portion of the defense they did not attack in the offseason and free agency, in the draft, or with trades, and that could be a house of cards. If the middle of your defense is mushy, then it doesn't matter.
It don't matter. We both agree.
And that's one thing that we aren't like the Baltimore Ravens or the Chiefs. You go look at their interior and their front seven. There are absolute legitimate dogs in that interior front seven and at the linebacker position. Not saying we don't have these young bucks now at the linebacker position, but I mean, they go deep up front on the inside from linebacker and defensive tackle situation. And I'm telling you right now, if they weren't as good in the middle like that, they probably wouldn't be as good in total. So,
and another thing, this is making Dak better because Dak Prescott now he struggles with guys.
Who's causing those turnovers? 10 Rock. 7. I'm sorry. So this dude in the chat saying that the Ravens lost because they turned the ball over. Well, yeah. Who got the turnovers?
Yeah.
The Chiefs' defense. Yeah. I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah.
How do you watch that game and come away thinking that the Chiefs did not play an extremely great defensive game? To me, is crazy. But anyway, go ahead.
Dak Prescott, man, is going to – I think this is really going to prepare him for, okay, we just going to drop back 7 and Dak Prescott, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
So this is really going to help him because he needs this. If you're not getting it in practice, how do you expect to go to a game and like, all right, but he's been dealing with this for now. So I got a feeling he's going to have a better plan now when you say, all right, I'm just going to drop 7.
Or 8, but yeah.
What are you going to do? Or 8, yeah. What are you going to do? You know? This is helping the offense out, too. I think we're going to see a better offense and it's funny saying a better offense because of what we had last year. Yeah. But
I feel you. I feel you. I think in certain aspects, we talked about this on Friday with Pat. It was one of the questions. Do I think this offense will be better? If the run game is just serviceable, a little bit better than serviceable, but if the run game is respectable, yeah, this offense has all the potential in the world to be better overall. I think there's still going to be a lethal passing offense because Dak Prescott and these weapons. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ferg, and Cooks alone, I think will give you a solid, at the very least, passing offense. But I think it'll be better than that because 4 is pulling the trigger. So yeah, and then again, we'll talk about it with Shotty, bro. Like I got some audio we'll do later this week. They're adding more motion. They're doing more things that I think are updated type of offenses, modern version type of things that you see on offense, and that'll just make this past game that much better. So,
and I want CD back bad, but Scott, don't underestimate when you see these other guys stepping up in these games because Dak Prescott got a feel for the third, the second, the third, and the fourth receiver now. So they looking like they could be number 2s and 3s, maybe even a number 1.
And we've seen that pay off during the season, right? Like if you are a reserve player in camp that is developing chemistry, making plays, gaining trust with the quarterback and the coordinator, by the time you get the season, you saw Dak going to Tolbert. Tolbert was a guy who took that second year jump. Dak praising him, McCarthy praising him. He starts to eat into the snaps of Michael Gallup, and then 4th and 8, he's going to Tolbert. You know what I mean? In a big moment early in the season. So, yeah, if you see Billy Johnson and the Croppers and whoever taking advantage of these reps, if something were to happen to any of these players, they got to be ready to get dialed in. Brooks, he didn't play a whole lot. He didn't get the ball thrown to him a whole lot. When Cooks went down, Brooks got called up in that Jets game in week 2, and he played a lot of snaps, right? Tolbert as well. He played a lot of snaps. So, yeah, you gain trust right now with Dak Prescott if you're a reserve guy. Yes, I love to see this, but I need to get Lamb up in here sooner rather than later. I don't want to have Lamb come in here a week before season and we like, now let's figure these things out. Yeah.
I don't either. I definitely want Lamb in here soon, but I like the depth purposes. We have a deeper receiving core than people think. And, in regards to the division, that's where the division is going to fall off at. Because I'm looking around. Teams don't know who their third receiver is. Teams don't know who their second receiver is. So when you stop these guys and you think you're going to do the same thing to the Cowboys, you're in trouble.
Well, that depends on McCarthy because this is the same group that's returning. Now, young players will be better. Brooks is going to be better. Tolbert's better, et cetera. But this will be up to if teams are strategically trying to make things difficult for a Lamb or a Cooks or whatever, It's up to the scheme to figure that out. And the quarterback, let's be honest too. But it's up for the scheme and the quarterback to figure out, okay, they're doing this to CeeDee Lamb here, but that means that, hey, maybe instead of Brooks in this spot, let's put Turpin in here and send him on a deep post, and I think we can get a deep shot. Instead of Cooks on this weird whip route slant thing going on, let's put Brooks here and say, screw all the little funny stuff, hard slant, and I'll put it on his body, and he's one of those big body guys, right? So it'll be up to them to come together if that were to happen. That's easier said than done because Lamb had like 1,500 yards last year and 12 touchdowns. But if it happens.
We've seen it in camp. I've seen Turpin go on some 9 routes in camp. So
he's getting involved, sure. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see, Scott. We'll see.
Man, great call, 100 grand, fun stuff. Look forward to hearing from you at some point, bro.
All right, bro.
Salute. That was a good one. But I tell you right now, if the Cowboys defense is the Ravens defense, yeah, that changes everything. Changes everything. Had a chance to be similar, right? Roquan Smith was just dangling out there. Hey, anybody want Roquan? Our staff said, nah, we good. We got LV. That's a whole different situation. Hey, bro, how do you say his name? My bad, Anderson. I might look. What's the cat's name? Let me go back here. I don't give a damn about no Washington. Mike S. out of Michigan. You call him the young, exciting rookie. Well, he's gonna be young, exciting, and pissed off when we play them because he's their nickel corner. If he's their starting nickel corner, that means CeeDee Lamb is gonna be in the slot and he's getting worked. So sorry, Washington fans. Y'all know I'm terrible with names. Terrible name. All right, so, man, again, I could talk so much about a lot of the things that came out of camp this week, but I'm trying to pace it. Tomorrow or Wednesday, one of the two, I got some buy or sell we're going to do mid-camp, and I want to talk more about some of these camp battles and who's in the lead or whatnot. So maybe tomorrow we'll have a guest on. In doing so, if not, I'm excited to talk about it anyway because we are starting to get some answers, right? Like, this is the 3rd week of training camp, so we're starting to get some more answers. Then Thursday we got, we have the scrimmage against the Rams, and Sunday we have the Rams game, and it's at like 3:25 Central. Oh, thank you. I got sick and tired of our first preseason game on the West Coast being at 10 o'clock at night. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's what we got coming up this week. Let me hit these super chats real quick on the way out. It's a couple of them. G-Dub dropped 2, a 5 and a 2, 7 total. He said 100 grand need to leave them shrooms alone. Please tell me you said shrooms and not sherm. Let me go read this. 100 grand need to leave that sherm alone. Oh, Lord. That wet. That sherm. Books. Nah, I've seen what that does. People around my way, but man. 100 grand, just confident. He confident in the squad, you know. I ain't ready to go there yet. Y'all know me. I don't jump off the cliff this early. I just report what I'm seeing and give you my opinions on it. But boy, if we can beat the Ravens defense, yeah, that'd be great. $5 from G-Dub. He said the biggest upgrade I hope to see with Zimmer is to have in-game answers if things aren't going as planned. Yeah, G-Dub. Yeah. Q had like 3 things going into the game, and we really didn't switch much up in game. I know it sounds crazy because we're used to hearing that on the offensive side of the ball over the years. The thing about Zimmer's defense, you might have to wait to halftime, and in halftime, I think adjustments are overrated. You listen to Peyton Manning, he like, dog, you get there, it's like 10 minutes, you piss. Oh, I mean, use the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you eat an orange, you talk to your guy, and next thing you know, you got to walk back out there. Halftime adjustments is a little overrated. But with Zimmer wants to know immediately, hey, what the hell was you seeing out there? So he's going to be on the field. You'll see adjustments quite literally as the game is going. Excuse my French to the children that are watching this, to the ladies out there. My bad. That's my bad. Tony, our tribal chief, is back. Yes, he is, man. What an amazing ending to the show. We knew he was coming back, but it was cool to see him back. It was cool to hear the pop, the ooh-ah. That was the loudest ooh-ah that I've ever heard from Roman Reigns. If you did not see my opinion on it, you can go to ANW or And New Wrestling on YouTube. I have a real opinion on Roman Reigns returning and working with Cody. I personally think Roman is about to overshadow Cody Rhodes, but that's where we're headed here, man. That's where we're headed. Excited to see where we go. Cowboys Nation said, I'm mixing in the Kool-Aid, but I ain't drinking it yet, Sky. Yeah, man. I don't do the whole Kool-Aid thing just quite yet. I got the packets right here. I know I got the sugar right here. I know how much I need to put in. Got the container, But we gotta see some things. I ain't finna put the blindfold on and just make it. That's blind Kool-Aid. Nah. Gotta make it to perfection, which means we need more data. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. This was a fun one. Man, I'm gonna hit up, bro. I don't know if you're watching. I'm gonna watch, see if we can wrap tomorrow. That'll be fun. Definitely, especially for the segment I got lined up for y'all. If you did not already, please hit that like button on the way out. This was a great one. If you missed it, run this thing back. We have practice today. There was no practice yesterday. There's practice today, so we'll report on that a little bit tomorrow as well. Keep up with us on Twitter and myself on Twitter, A to Z Sports Dallas and Skywalker Still. Later, we'll have a video dropping by Mo. No live show, but a video dropping, so make sure I got that bell hit. And you guys are ready. Special K. One more thing. See, man, we're ready to talk wrestling. I did hear that's a bit of a work. I know he's in a boot, but according to Fightful, I think it is, it's a bit of a work. The injury to Jacob Fatu. Lord, I hope it's a work because the dude is ridiculous. But we'll see. We'll follow up on it on Friday. With that said, I know it is what it is. That's not what I'm going for.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
That's what I'm going for. Hey, Jay, obviously, I love milk. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me started on Liv. I have a word for Liv Morgan that Pat doesn't like. Mid-Morgan. We'll leave it at that. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace. Nah. Liv and Rhea's match was amazing, man. I plead the fifth, bro. I plead the fifth. My wife know who mine is, and it ain't Liv. Liv Morgan?
No.